One of the reasons why I became involved in the struggle was because I saw a child being hungry, you know, and and it really took onto my heart that that is not right, you know. I saw um, disrespect from a young policeman, and my mother had to get off the pavement to give way to him. Those were the kinds of um, that made me want to change the world. And that is what a person, any human being, needs to change what is happening in our country. Right? To not be driven by, because I always say that there's enough money in the world, there's enough food in the world, Charlene. Nobody needs to go hungry. But because some of us is just more greedier than the others, you know,
Yeah.
and that makes it um, less possible, and you need to have a lot of energy to
Yeah.
do all of that. What I would like to do is to go and talk at schools like we used to do in the past, you know. Um, and maybe we won't be able to bring in everybody, but there will be enough, more than a handful that would respond to that, that still wants to have um, change, quality, you know. They still want to have that kind of thing. And yeah, it's sad what where we were and where we are now. I mean, I can just cry. A lot of that, uh, I was so pissed off, sorry for the language, um, that it make one sick, you know, to think that you have given, not just you, but so many thousands of comrades have given their life, Charlene. They've sacrificed themselves. Um, I had to very quickly grow up, um, getting to know people, knowing that, because I thought people are all kind, but they're actually not, you know. And we went into the struggle with an idea that we want to eradicate apartheid. Other people went into that with a different kind of thinking, you know. But we fought together. There was that camaraderie, that, you know, that strength that we had together, that we could depend on each other. Johnny and I agreed very early on that he would, our roles would be different. He would sometimes have to go underground. That was before we got separated now, you know. He would be underground and I would be above ground. So we never crossed that kind of line, because there should always be somebody consistent for the children. And I was that person to be consistent with the children, even though that I would go into hiding, but my parents would be there, you know, and I would explain to them, or my dad would explain to them, and those sorts of things. So it wasn't easy, you know, raising a household, but I must say the community played an amazing role in helping me to raise my children, because my children had to go into hiding. They couldn't go to school for more than a year because the police were harassing the school every day, and they wanted to arrest them, because if they have the children, they can smoke out the parents. That's what the police did, you know. They arrested Layla. She was 3 months because they wanted to give Johnny a banning order. So they had to break my mother's whole house down, kick the door down, um, dismantle everything in the house, and grab the child and knock my mother out so she lands in hospital, just to arrest a 3-month-old baby for to get Johnny to come forward so they can give him a banning order. I mean, that's mad, eh? So I remember in one of my detention, Charlene. So now I haven't met some of these security men. So now I see Mustard and some other funny cake. I don't know who all of them are. So the one says, "Oh, is this the Shahida Issel?" I thought you are a big woman, you know? And he walks and he circles around me. This is now Mustard. And he circles around me and he circles around me. And I'm standing there and I'm looking him in the face. So I'm like, still like, yeah, so what? And he comes back and he elbows me, yeah. And, gosh, I had the shock of my life, the way he hit me standing there. And then I realized these people are so scared. They are so scared because we had the power. Because I said to him, yeah, you can kill me here. You can hit me all you want. But you must know there are a million Shahidas out there. And he went mad because they couldn't cope with that kind of power that we had. Because remember, we brilliantly brought every community together with what affected them on a ground level, whether it was rental, whether it was having to their wages, just about everything. We brought people together regarding what affected them. We never used to walk around with phone numbers. Well, at least me, never walked around with phone numbers because I know I was a target. I can be arrested anytime. It had to be up here. We had to memorize that, how many hundreds of telephone numbers. So I remember there was one day, um, I think one was it not Timul who was killed, who was thrown in Caledon Square, one of the um, comrades that was killed in prison while they were in detention. And so now they're coming to arrest Johnny. We living in Rockland. So I'm like, no, you're not going to take my husband from here. I'm calling my attorney. He has to come here. He has to sign, Johnny has to sign a paper. He will not commit suicide in your care. Oh, the police couldn't handle that. Hey? Oh, they couldn't handle that. I got Dalla out of the bed to come to the house. I said to him, this man is being arrested and they are killing people in their care. And then they say they fell. Johnny is sound of mind. He is quite normal. There's nothing wrong with him. What's the chances? Because you are so scared of this man. No, Della came. I made them sign a paper. You won't leave my house. I'm a woman alone. I will lock you all up. Yeah, they didn't know how to handle that part. So I pull a lot of stunts like that, Charlie. But it strengthens you all the time. And it makes you more determined to get to your end goal, you know, to reach what we, fought for. And having to live the Freedom Charter. That was one of today still my very good. I'm still sad when I talk about the Freedom Charter because we have moved away from that, Charlene. Why? We've moved away from that where we were told that we shall all till the land and share in the fruits of tilling the land. Leading up to the launch of the UDF, firstly, Johnny them had to get permission to have the launch in Cape Town, and they had to argue their point as to why Cape Town. And they couldn't argue because Cape Town gave the lead in so many ways because we had our ducks in a row. We had all the suburbs in not just Mitchell's Plain, the entire Western Cape to Worcester, the Boland, we had together, and everybody reported to the hotline. I mean, that was always manned by a comrade, and that yes. So eventually, it was given the go ahead. The launch will be in Rocklands. Oh my God! We used music. We use impromptu plays on the buses, on the trains. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I will take my 3 children with me, and I will go onto the train at 4 o'clock, Shaolin, because people are going to work. And I am woman alone with those 3 children. And I would start a conversation with somebody or latch onto something what somebody has said. And then you come back to the station where you left your car to go back home again, or you get on a bus. But at the same time, also, every comrade in the Western Cape work together. You guys, um, from everywhere, we needed to make arrangements for people to come sleep. We had to get the schools involved. We had to get the churches because everybody's coming from Durban, from the Northern Cape, from Johannesburg, all of those places. So we needed to provide accommodation. So all of that had to be worked out. And at the same time, we need to still keep the momentum going in Mitchell's Plain. So we will go around every night with a loudhailer and playing, what's that song? Um, uh, Gosh, one of Bob Marley's songs that we would play, and to keep the vibe going, to keep the momentum, yes. We had some good times. It wasn't all gloom, I must say. I
Yeah.
must add that thought in. I'm grateful to so many things, with all that has happened to me. You need to get to the point where you also forgive yourself, forgive those as that you have done something to, or they have done something to you, because that frees you from all this kind of, you know, weight that you're carrying around. So I got into that point also to do that. So yeah, I can sit here and say that I'm pleased. I'm very happy